Hello everybody, today I'm doing something a little different. I'm doing a review of a documentary, The Secret Life of a Manic Depressive. It's from the 90s, Stephen Fry. I've seen a lot of Stephen Fry's work and a lot of his documentaries. They're very good, but I haven't seen this one. I know it's award winning and I thought it might be appropriate for this channel. But because of copyright issues, I'm going to have to put in my 2 cents here and there. So every couple of minutes I'm going to stop the video, have a comment, but I've probably got appropriate things to say regarding this particular topic matter. Hopefully you will enjoy it, and I'm going to do it over a couple of videos because it's too long. So if I get enough views and if people are interested, then I'll continue to do different parts. But I hope you enjoy it.
11 years ago, I was starring in a new play in this theatre in the West End. After just 3 performances, I walked out. In the early hours of the next morning, I came down from my flat in central London to this lane. I went into my garage, sealed the door with a duvet I brought, and got into my car.
Sat there for at least, I think, 2 hours in the car, my hands on the ignition key. It was a suicide attempt, not a cry for help.
I drove to the south coast and took a ferry to Europe.
I just knew I couldn't be at home, I couldn't be in London, I couldn't be in England. I really believed that I would never come back to England. Runaway Stephen Fry broke his silence last night to reveal the torture he's been suffering. They all are worried that I've committed suicide. That's the awful thing.
But after a week, I secretly returned to England to this hospital and to a doctor telling me that I was bipolar. I'd never heard the word before, but for the first time, at the age of 37, I had a diagnosis that explained the massive highs and miserable lows I've lived with all my life.
There's no doubt that I do have extremes of mood that are greater than just about anybody else I know.
The psychiatrist in the hospital recommended I take a long break. I came here to America, and for months I saw a therapist and walked up and down this beach. My mind was full of questions. Am I now mad? How have I got this illness? Could it have been prevented? Can I be cured of it? Since then, I've discovered just how serious it is to have bipolarity, or manic depression, as it's also called. 4 million others in the UK have it, and many of the seriously ill end up killing themselves. So I've decided to speak out about my mental illness, and it is a mental illness. I want to talk to others who have it about what triggered it in them and how it took over their lives. And I want to find out answers to what still worries me. Was I diagnosed correctly? And am I getting better or worse? Let's start with a remark made by a Hollywood producer to me. You don't need to be gay or Jewish to get on here, just bipolar. He meant, of course, larger than life, furiously energetic, endlessly creative. Manic types do well in Hollywood, in all of show business for that matter. Euphoric highs and crippling lows seem to go with the territory and don't attract the stigma found everywhere else. Since my own diagnosis, I've kept working and found ways to cope. And I've also kept quiet about my condition. Now I want to speak out, to fight the stigma, and to give a clearer picture of a mental illness most people know little about.
Visiting my old friend Carrie Fisher, known to the world as Princess Leia in the Star Wars movies. She's always been... She's on the edge of sanity. She's, constantly... not mad enough to be committed, but not sane enough to lead much of a normal life.
galloping along at a great speed, it is better than any drug that you could ever take. God, if you will, is saving you parking spots. Songs are being played on the radio for you. You're just so enthusiastic about everyone. And everyone must be enthusiastic about you. And it's just, come along. I've got a great idea. I've got this unbelievable idea. Let's go to India.
Exactly.
Then you'll just start going way too fast.
Yeah.
And you're faster than anyone that you're around, and that's not fun. You're on the phone far too long, you're not getting any sleep. Nothing is going fast enough for you. Come on, keep up with me, you guys, come on. And even if it's not true that you're more talented when you're manic, you feel like you are.
Yeah, which is half the battle.
I am standing on rocks, flaming speeches to the world. You know, I have a lot to say. I have messages from deep space, in fact. And I stayed awake for 6 days, and I did lose my mind. This friend of mine says to me, "Does your doctor know that you behave this way?" What do you mean? Then we sort of have an argument, and I cry for 4 hours. And I am unable to stop. And I know there's something wrong with that. I call this doctor, and I go in, and I see her. You know, we're talking, and I'm laughing, and I'm spinning around in chairs. And the doctor says...
That's the diagnosis. That's bipolar. That's manic depression.
Carrie had years of living with such extreme moods and feelings before she got that diagnosis.
She's got it bad, you know. It's not a rock star, film star accessory. It's a real mental condition that she has to live with every single day of her life. She's on medication. You have to picture what she'd be like if she weren't.
A medical expert told me almost half of those suffering from manic depression aren't diagnosed at all. Frightens me to think of people having symptoms like Carrie and not knowing what's wrong with them.
No matter what you think of Stephen Fry or the work that he's done, he's certainly been a very good advocate for mental health, especially since this documentary came out. I can't remember whether this is late 90s or early 2000s, but anyway, I do remember at the time when he did go missing from a play. I was a bit young and I didn't really learn too much about it, but that beginning does explain it. Obviously he's had at least one, maybe more. I think he's had a suicide attempt a few years ago. So he's definitely struggled with his mental health. And Carrie Fisher, you know, Princess Leia, I had heard that she'd had a very, very difficult life with her mental health. I believe she passed away a few years ago, which is really sad because it, you know, seemed like a really nice lady, but she definitely struggled a lot with her mental health. I think it'd be really interesting to see where this documentary is going. It looks like Stephen Fry is really going into other people's mental health, their bipolar, his own bipolar. And who knows what we're going to find out, whether we're going to learn a bit about treatment or just different people's struggles, whatever it might be. But it's definitely good. And I mean, with my experience working in hospitals, I've, you know, looked after a lot of people with mental health issues, and including bipolar disorder or manic depression, as we used to call it in the old days. And I've had many people, I've looked after a number of people that have tried to commit suicide at different times, some pretty horrific ways. So, you know, even though I don't have bipolar myself, I've seen many people that do, and I've seen the results of people trying to commit suicide. And when they are successful, the effects that it has on their family and friends can be really devastating. But anyway, let's see how the rest of this documentary goes, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was just a quick teaser of the secret life of a manic depressive. If this is something that you like, if I get enough views, enough likes, and some comments, if people enjoy it, I'll watch the rest of the documentary. and put in longer ones next time. I've got a few other documentaries that I'd like to watch as well. Whether I put them on Facebook or not, that's up to you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.